I'll be talking about the mega trends that impact industrial automation. This presentation was made by one of my senior colleagues in Orlando Forum. So I'm practically repeating the presentation done by my senior colleagues from Orlando. If you look at the growth of GDP, this data is from US Energy Information Administration. You can see in 2013, how do the nations stand? And you can see in 2019, China is expected to overtake Europe. And a couple of years later, it's going to overtake US. Look at the leading automation suppliers. We have not covered all. About 7, 8 of the suppliers we have covered. And what you see in the colors, that's the recent acquisitions done by these companies. I'm just going to go through a lot of trends only. I'm not going to get into any details, okay? Like I started with the GDP, now I'm on to the suppliers. Next, I'm going to talk about the growth or the lack of growth in the automation area, quarter by quarter. If you look at the first quarter, you find most of the quarters people have shown growth. It's more than 16%. If you look at the second quarter, also the growth has been continuous. I'm talking second quarter 2011. Look at the end of 2011, the fourth quarter, the growth started slowing down to 4%. Look at the second quarter, again, the first half of 2012 showed continued slowing down, no growth. Where are we now? The first quarter growth over last year's first quarter, the growth is negative. So this is for the entire world, not for the country. And some of these statistics, what you see here, are provided by ARC for all advisory service clients. So they get this on a regular basis as a quarterly input. The next few slides, I'm going to talk about the mega trends, what's happening in automation. So the mega trends, what's happening in automation, the control, electrical and safety systems, commercially available IT hardware, standards continuously evolving, distributed devices, it's not only instruments, the application software moving away from reactive to proactive, whether it is APC or real-time optimization, or historian or analytics. The infrastructure, the business and manufacturing are getting integrated. Virtualization, cloud, through engineering tools, virtual commissioning, and of course, there's a huge change the way the workforce needs to be handled in terms of operating the plant with your own device to changing roles. Coming to the machine automation trends, this trend has been becoming increasingly active. The PLCs, of course, this is really not applicable for process industries as a whole, but still in some segments of process industry, PLCs are still used. So you have this PLCs becoming process automation controller, and this trend of PC-based controllers is becoming stronger and in Europe and going still further stronger. The hardware is becoming more smart, self-configurable. You can do quite a lot more with the self-configurable hardware. And then coming to automation trends in terms of engineering, the engineering gets sort of integrated. The electrical, mechanical, and the software, everything gets integrated. And then PLM tools have revolutionized the whole engineering. It helps in automatic code generation, rapid prototyping, holistic approach to products and systems design, and also helps closed loop design and manufacturing. How does this help? So as you can see here, through PLM and with the advanced engineering tools, you can run through the whole plant in your PC do the entire design. You can do the test. You can check all the HMI graphics. You can also validate the safety concepts. And then all this helps in shortening on-site commissioning time. I will just move out of the machine automation, go to the other trends. In terms of DCS is concerned in the world, the big 6 DCS suppliers control more than 80% of the market. It's not only going to be the knowledge or technology is going to help you. You must know the industry in which these technologies are being adapted. Already somebody talked about MAC, main instrumentation vendor, and main electrical contractor. The suppliers are expanding their business well beyond automation. And then, of course, the service performance is emerging as a big differentiator between the companies. This block diagram you must have seen many times during your lifetime who have been dealing with DCS. But then the focus here, you look at the middle. The production management and manufacturing execution systems are getting integrated into collaborative process automation system. It's just no more DCS. In terms of trends, the hardware is becoming, as I said, commercially available this thing. It becomes necessary to use the standards. And then always the discussion of safety integrated system, a separate system, or is it the same basic controller hardware kept separately for safety? So the trend is becoming that the safety integrated system hardware remains same as DCS, and the exclusive safety integrated system levels of hardware are getting reduced. And then, of course, IEC 61850 provides integration of power and automation. In terms of systems are concerned, you have the control and business system. ISA 95 integrates them both. More collaboration, again, becomes necessary between DCS and production management. And then the data, the person who holds a large amount of data, enables the company to take the decisions. Then the APC and real-time operation are becoming much, much more critical. You need to conceive the design, system checkout, training, optimization, and predictive guidance. And without the real-time operating systems, real-time information being fed into the control systems, it's going to become more and more difficult for running the plants because of the technical resource non-availability at the sites. The digital networks. Ethernet is becoming pervasive. Remote operation management becomes necessary. Of course, we have the foundation field bus, we have the Profibus. HART, we expect it will continue. And then ISA 108 is becoming a field device management standard. Field instruments are also moving in technology trends. There is going to be a huge increase on intelligent instruments because this enables asset management, whether plant asset management or enterprise asset management becomes necessary. Multiple measurements come from the same source. The analyzers are becoming more standardized. And then, if not the least one, the wireless connectivity is increasing the field instrument purchases. In terms of wireless technology trends, we have enhanced sensors as far as the hardware is concerned. In terms of workforce is concerned, with the mobile device solutions, every person wants to have the information with him. One of the samples, we had a demonstration from one of the suppliers where he used the iPhone for monitoring, the condition monitoring or the vibration monitoring, and he transmitted the information from the iPhone to his workplace and got the feedbacks and continued with the commissioning. Cybersecurity, I think enough talk has been done, but still many users still underestimate the risk to industrial networks and do not take appropriate measures. Industrial targets have become fashionable for hackers with potentially grave consequences. Though suppliers have made great progress in providing security tools to meet the needs of industry, but no system is still 100% secure. But despite all these risks, the benefits of using IT technology is so high. There's no question of looking back, and we have to ensure the cybersecurity measures are done to take care of the plans. Coming next to the topic of process control network security. So ISA 99 provides a framework for security. The chief security officer becomes much more responsible on security patch management, and then system audits are mandatory to ensure to control the security threats. But in a way, automation and IT have to work much, much more closer than any other time to make the systems more sustainable. Coming to some of the issues on the people factor, the smartphone has surpassed the PC market. Almost all employees will use smartphones. The line of difference between home and office is practically blurring. All employees want to stay connected with their jobs, not only for the design, they want to monitor their plants. Use of analytics, it's increasing. We do have some sessions on analytics. And then people want to stay connected irrespective of the location. And people have started using cloud services. And then, of course, the final recommendation of bringing your own device, which can be used for office work as well as for personal work. Let's see how does this mobile thing moves. So you have local fixed assets. You have remote fixed assets. It can be wind farms, solar farms, pipelines. You also have mobile assets, which are moving continuously. So all these, the service provider or the system integrator or the owner wants to have all the information in his laptop as well as mobile. So this is an integration which takes place as mobile enterprise application platform. Of course, you do have further attachments coming in terms of GPS. And then the most important, the customer wants to have access of all this. It's not only the person who holds the systems, who wants all the information of multiple sites, but the customer also wants to have all this information in his mobile so that he or she can take decisions. In terms of virtualization, the developments in the PC hardware and software, and the cost reduction that's taking place in the PC, you can do practically a lot with the PCs. Coming to some of the models, what's getting developed on cloud computing. The first model is a license model in which you own everything. The second model, you rent it out. Your application runs on a rented hardware. The third model, you do it from the cloud. The fourth model, the entire application software runs on the cloud. Let's look at the same in a different fashion. The first line, private, you own everything, and then you do everything. Private. When you come to infrastructure, you outsource certain portion, and as a service, certain things you get it done from the vendor. Come to the third one, platform as a service, you outsource majority. When you come to software as a service, the trend is towards you outsource everything. That means conceptually, the first case you own everything. Second case, you do own something, but move away from that. Third case, you start thinking of going in the new direction, whether to build or buy. And then the last option. These are question marks, which I think every company has to decide. When you want to do the kind of integration, you want to have the information on your mobiles. How security, how reliable, how complex, how the cyber security issues are analyzed, how is the data integration, and then the networks. So this is a slide which is to be thought of by every industry, okay? And then there's no option of going back. These questions, each industry has to decide and move forward. And then, when you have a plant historian, you are limited by the memory capacity, what's provided by the vendors in terms of servers. When then you move to cloud, it gives you an elastic as well as a limitless storage. You want to integrate 30 power plants or process plants or oil and gas plants. You want lots of information for you to take a decision. There is no option other than moving the plant information to the cloud. It just gives you a sample of the amount of data that's coming. If you take an automated metering on a Saunier online, it gets something around a data of 1,413 tetrabytes. Look at the fleet monitoring, it just runs into 50,000 tetrabytes. Synchro phases, 436 tetrabytes. So how do you handle this amount of data? Because data is going to increase, plants are growing, so you need to have all this information for you to take a decision. So it becomes necessary that you need to build in analytics to help you in running the plants. The analytics of the past, we used to look at reports, look at the dashboards right now, and then you need to get into predictive mode. You have terabytes of data. With all that data, you just can't be looking at and waiting for things to happen. So it is very essential. You should use this information with analytics support, look into the future. Then coming to the kind of communications for the people. These are some of the communication mechanisms, the basic communication and scheduling. The initial stage, we started with emails. Then we start publishing, start using web pages. Then you have a shared workspace. People can share the documents. Then you have the real-time interaction through web meetings or voice memos. Then you have social collaboration. You have the Facebook, device space, and all that. Because these are become a part of life. Whether you are young or old, it is become necessary that we are involved either part of this kind of communication or all. And this is going to increase. For example, how this is going to affect the operations. The people expect in the industry a Facebook-like interface. With that, he wants to know what is happening in the shop floor. He wants to know all details about the devices, profiles. He wants to interact with people. He wants to take technical support. He wants to even talk to service engineer. So this kind of interactive mode, chatting mode for the plants to run has become extremely necessary as we find the better tools and technologies available will help the people to stay connected and also remain connected with their jobs. I still have a couple of more slides. Again, coming back to the mobile. So the operators are going to become with workforce-related tool. So asset monitoring is becoming practically linked to plant asset management. You need to know the status of every asset. The management of change should also include automation asset. The modular performance automation is governed by ISA 106. It is becoming necessary to automate the work processes with operator function elevated to meeting, not only the operator activities, also the business function activities. The digital field technologies will continue to change traditional field technicians. More aggressive approaches are needed, how to keep the aging workforce become more knowledgeable. Equally aggressive approaches are needed for millennials entering the workforce. So what is millennials? This is my last slide. This practically every subsection runs into some era. Millennials are the people who are born between 1981 to 2006. Generation X are the people from 1965 to 1980. The boomers are the people from 1940 to 1964. The silent are the people during the World War. You can see the trend of technology, the mood of the people, how things have changed. Last line, we have no choice. The millennials are a generation of digital natives. They adapt technologies pretty fast, and they are very quick in learning. But there are reservations. How do these millennials fit into the operations of the plants? But ladies and gentlemen, let me make it very clear. We need to bring the young workforce, bring the knowledge what we had, so that not only you get benefited, the millennials get benefited, the organization gets benefited. So the technology which makes the operations better, we need to adopt and make our life better. Thank you.